Hey my exiles, Zaior here bringing you a very complete build for farming and finishing bosses with one hit. The Hollow Wind Fist, a very versatile build for the endgame. With Tempest Flurry and Staggering Palm we destroy any enemy that crosses our path with ease. And against bosses we will abuse the mechanic of accumulating combo points with our Flicker Strike to finish them in one hit. In this video we will see how to play the gear, the skills with their gems, the skill tree and more. Ready to take your builds to the next level? Let's get into the video. We will start with map farming. The first thing we have to do before starting the map is to use our Staggering Palm on enemies constantly to gain the buff. And how does it work? Staggering Palm is a dash plus a strike that applies a heavy stun to enemies that are primed of stun. And when you stun, it gives you a buff. For a few seconds your attacks shoot additional projectiles that pierce targets. Use 2E control and turn your hits into instant range damage. This is the first step to start mapping calmly and with optimal DPS. Repeat it as many times as needed to keep the buff active all the time, as it stacks up to a maximum of 30 seconds. And to make the most of the Staggering Palm buff, we will use Tempest Flurry. This skill has very fast consecutive hits that make a perfect synergy with the Staggering Palm buff. This way we can shoot projectiles constantly. To cast them without needing an enemy, just hold left shift and cast Tempest Flurry. This way you can cast the skill without having an enemy nerving. Activate it at this moment to add more DPS Charge Staff, which we will only use for mapping, not on bosses. We already know that to activate Charge Staff we will need Power Charge. And how do we gain these Power Charge? This time it will be easier than ever. With Hand of Shayula and its support gem, which will be mandatory, LEECH Chimes. It is a support gem that works with abilities than speed combo points. And Tempest Flurry is a combo point generator for our skills, so we will be taking advantage of this synergy. When you use a skill that consumes combo, you have a chance, 10% per common spend, to gain Power Charge. This chance can exceed 100%, which means that if you spend many combo points in one hit, you can ensure to gain 1 or more Power Charge. That means we can get up to 7 Power Charge depending on the number of combos accumulated in the skill. In general, it is a little over 150 combo points, but for mapping we can use fewer and more frequently. Therefore, these skills are the most important to farm maps easily. In summary, we will first use Staggering Palm to gain the buff and shoot projectiles. We will use this frequently to not lose the buff. Tempest Flurry to start generating combo points and clear at the same time. Use Hand of Shayula to gain those Power Charge and be able to use Charge Staff. This way we will have a combination with quite a lot of DPS and mobility to clear maps. Gems and other things we will see later with a more detailed explanation. Okay, for bosses it's a mechanic easy to understand and will vary in boss difficulty and also in the gear we carry. I mean the damage we will do and when we should apply the one shot. But the theory is the same for both cases. We will start with map bosses. The map bosses are easier than pinnacle bosses, so we won't need to generate such a big amount of combo points as we will in one that requires more. In fact, sometimes they die before accumulating these points. In the background you will see an example of a tier 15 map boss. Here we only need at least 50 combo points to kill it. So first we accumulate that amount of points attacking with Tempest Flurry. Around 50 or 70 combo points accumulated, then we use Hand of Shayula to spend those points and transform them into Power Charge. This way we will have Power Charge to use Flicker Strike. Don't worry about spending combo points with Hand of Shayula, since they work separate from Flicker Strike. Then, at the moment we have Power Charge, when use Flicker Strike to delete the bosses in a single cast. Remember that the damage also varies depending on your gear. If you have lower gear, you may need to accumulate perhaps 20 points more or 10 points more. When doing tests, you have to see how many points to spend to take full advantage of the mechanic. We move to a pinnacle boss to show that it's also viable to kill with more difficulty. This one is tier 2 and honestly it was pretty easy to eliminate. We start the same as before, but this time we will have to accumulate more combo points to deal more damage to a boss with more life. This time we need at least 180% combo points for this tier, which is more than enough to kill in one shot. Also with this amount we will gain more Power Charge, reaching 7 charges to maximize Flicker Strike. This is how we can finish bosses faster. It is also important to dodge attacks while accumulating combo points. Remember that on bosses do not use Charge Staff, otherwise the charge will be consumed and we will not maximize Flicker Strike. This time I will skip Elemental Expression and Crackling Palm, since in several videos I have explained what each gem is for and its utility in the build. They are in the planner region and linked in the comments and the description. This way we move to explain the most relevant things for this build to work as best as possible. Any doubts will be answered in the comments. We start with Tempest Fury, our main damage skill, and also do generate combo points. Rapid attacks to gain 25% attack speed. Practice combo will be mandatory if we want to generate combos faster and efficiently, a very useful gem for this build. Pinpoint Critical increases our critical chance with this skill to ensure more crits taking advantage of Tempest Fury speed. Lightning Atonement for 24 more lightning damage, since Tempest Fury is a lightning skill, and Elemental Armament another 25% more elemental damage, in this case lightning. We continue with Staggering Palm. Nova projectiles will be key to shoot projectiles in all directions and gain 4 additional ones, huge. Combined with Ricochet 2, the projectiles generated by the Staggering Palm buff can bounce off terrain, increasing range and damage, very useful in tired spaces. This way DPS is better and more efficient. Armor Explosion synergizes with Armor Break to make enemies explode more fragile. And Stun 2 will be important and mandatory for this skill, increasing our chance to stun faster and gain the buff faster. We continue with Flicker Strike, our skill to finish bosses. Inevitable critical to take advantage of Flicker Strike speed, as most of the time we will reach higher crits with each hit, provoking consecutive crits all the time. Perpetual Charge will be key to not lose charge and maintain Flicker Strike activate as much as possible. Overextend for 30% more critical damage, since we will hit crits frequently. And here comes the star gem of the build, the most important, Culmination 2, allowing us to accumulate points with this skill, and for each combo points we increase damage by 3%. Very powerful and broken benefit. The increased damage is huge. Important to generate combos before losing them, since we have a max of 4 seconds before they expire. And finally, Lightning Atonement for 25% extra damage. We continue with Hand of Chayula, our charge generator, and for that we also need Culmination 2 and hide combos to gain more charge. This is why Culmination is used here as well. Sniper Mark will give Frenzy Charge to increase attack speed and physical attack, but the most important gem here is Early Chimes, giving a chance to convert spent combos into power charge. The more combos spent, the more power charge we get. The rest are our support and damage buffs: Era of Thunder with Elemental Focus, Concentrated Area, Lightning Attunement, Lightning Mastery, and Clarity for better mana regen. Herald of Ash is a great AoE clear for maps. Charge Regulation can also be an option, since this build generates Frenzy, Endurance, and Power Charge, so it could work in theory. I haven't tested, but it should work well. Wind Dancer and Ghost Dance for survivability, key to safely clear maps. Let's talk about how I recover mana for this build, since it consumes quite a lot. First, we need to take the node Walker of the Wilds. This node will be mandatory for mana regeneration. It is used by having a ring with this affix to convert part of the damage into mana. This way we will have a good sustain. Also, if you have extra spirit, the gem Clarity 2 will help a lot to regenerate mana without problems. Another gem that works a lot is Efficiency 2, which we can use in Tempest Fury, reducing the skill cost. The skill tree is quite similar to previous builds with certain variations. We will go straight to see the nodes I add for this build and how it works correctly. First, we will take all these nodes here to increase the maximum number of charge we can gain, up to max of 7. These nodes are important if we want to deal more damage with our Flicker Strike. Also, we will gain charge duration and increase our critical damage with this one here. If we go farther down, they will give more energy shield if you consume power charge, and also the chance to gain an additional charge. With these nodes here, we increase the max charge by +2 and also increase our critical damage bonus. Of course, we will take our Hollow Palm node, which is already well explained. We continue with all these points here. Stupefy increase 40% damage to dazed enemies, and be constantly uses Tempest Fury with Staggering Palm. These effects apply constantly. Therefore, we will have 40% more frequent damage. Dizzying hits increases a 40% critical hit chance, and the other small points contribute to generate this state. So these points are direct damage for our build. We continue with Chakra of Impact, a mandatory node since it increases 8% damage per combo consumed, up to maximum of 40%. so it will always be 40% extra damage for our skill. It also provides another 20% damage. Chakra of Rhythm increases the chance to gain an additional combo per hit. Very important to generate combos efficiently, and also gives 6% attack speed. Most important changes in the tree. The other points are the same. For example, Subterfuge Mask to gain more evasion. These points here to gain more critical chance on blinded enemies, since we will use Blind 2 in our skills to keep them blinded. Falcon Technique to increase attack speed even more and cast the Staggering buff faster. Some points in critical and attributes here to increase damage. And the points in the planner for attributes are distributed so you can equip gems and skill without problem, keeping a minimum of strength, dexterity, and intelligence. The Ascendancy will be Invoker, in my opinion the safest, and it scales perfectly with most monk skills and builds since the game launch. I am the Thunder for more lightning damage. Lead Me Through Grades will be key to gain more spirit and use more buffs. This is gained by having high evasion and energy shield on gear. Sunder my enemies to break elemental resistances with our high and frequent crits in this build, and elemental expression to add more damage. We start with the helmet, combination of evasion plus energy shield, the best option to have more defense and also attack thanks to the Hollow Palm technique node. Add resistances to cap them, and if it's possible, add critical chance. Next is the chest, similar to the helmet but with more resistances. For the belt, I went with Ingenuity, a great option for most, cheaper than other endgame belts, and increases effects on our rings, helping damage and easier resist capping. The gloves, Thunder Fist, continue to drop in price and are a great option for this build. If you can get ones as in the planner gear section, any gloves with add lightning damage plus evasion, energy shield, attack speed will work. Boots are key to cap resistances, and movement speed is important for faster dodge and moving quickly while using Tempest Flurry. The amulet can be a simple one with energy shield and something to increase the range of melee skills to increase damage. Also, some amulet with strength will help keep more skills and gems require strength. If so, you can adjust attribute points in the tree. In general, the gear is balanced for endgame, and I haven't had problems farming. Charms, these three are, in my opinion, the best and easiest to get to avoid annoying effects while farming. I leave you a tier 15 map to see the build in action. If you like, you can leave a like and subscribe to keep growing and improving PoE 2 content. See you, my exiles.
For the monastery.